Hey everybody! Welcome back to the LovenStamps studio. I know maybe you guys have been online with me the last week. Even though I wasn't physically here, I had some videos for you, so some cool projects to share. But now I'm actually back in the studio and I'm excited to welcome you with me because I have a really great card to share with you. It's very simple. You're going to love it. It has two really great sort of cheat techniques in it for skipping over the coloring process. If you've ever looked at a stamp set and thought, oh, that's really sweet, I like that set, but I do not want to color that, this project is for you. So we're going to go talk about two of those. And if you're wondering where I've been, I'm home from the backcountry. I spent the last 7 days in New Mexico on a backpacking trip with alumni staffers from Philmont Scout Ranch, where I worked in the 90s. So we had a great trip, and this stamp set, Musical Jamboree, is the perfect match for it because one of the features of programs in the backcountry at Philmont is amazing campfires. And so I got to see Joey, my own kiddo in the backcountry doing their thing with an amazing banjo performance and singing and so forth. And then all of their friends in the backcountry. So I could talk about Philmont for a really long time. So I'm going to try and hold myself in and focus on stamping, which is what you guys all really want to hear about. So, oh, thanks, Trish. I really did have an amazing time. I'll have to put together some pictures and stuff and try and remind me at the end so I don't forget. I took Stampin' Up! Into the backcountry and I can show you, yes, I can show you what I took, and I'll tell you how the staffers, who are all 18 to, mid-20s, 26 or so, how they reacted to the fun things that we shared with them that are Stampin' Up! World things. So, all right, yay, thanks for the welcome home, guys. Okay, I'm going to switch our camera over, and we are going to get started. If it sounds like my voice is a little weird, it's because it is. It was a lot. It was a really amazing trip, but I'm like kind of just getting over all of that dry air in New Mexico there. So we spent all of our time in the mountains between about, base camp is 6,000 feet or so. And then the outer, most of our time was around 9,000 feet. I think 10,000 was about our highest. And we backpacked between all the camps. It was it was really 5 days of hiking. And we, trail miles was about 30. And then the total mileage was closer to just like 52, I think somebody recorded. So it was a good amount of mileage in that amount of time. And so this card, like I said, is going to be really pretty simple. We're starting with a basic white card base. And the link is in the video description. If you're watching live and you click through right now, it's not going to work because I haven't set it up yet. But if you're watching within 30 minutes of the live, then you'll be able to see the link for all of these supplies. And hey, Joan. Oh my gosh. Yes, Joan, New Mexico is beautiful. Hey, Kelly. The video description has, it says I'm home or back from being home in New Mexico. It's HOME. And we like to call that heaven on earth. We just lowercase the M, so to make it fit, right? It is beautiful there. Okay, so we need our little Coyote friend playing the banjo, and we need some of these other little fun pieces. We need some of these grass pieces, and let's see. We're going to need the music notes, and then, of course, if you guys know me at all, you know that if there's a pun in a stamp set, I do love it. So we're going to use the Just a Note greeting here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that on a block. And then I think we're going to put another friend here on a block. Maybe we'll put both, and we're going to put these inside our card. So we're going to use our Coyote on the front and these guys on the... and actually, maybe we'll stick the campfire on there. So I was actually thinking that what I would love to do is send some cards back to the backcountry, just as a little note to the places that we got to camp and see campfires and say thanks again for how much we enjoyed seeing them. All right, so instead of working on our card base, I'm going to work on a layer. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So it's a 1/4 inch layer instead of the 1/8 inch that we often use. So it's a little bit wider around the edge. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a little space to stamp our character here. And this is a really great stamp. But if you're not into the idea of coloring it, this is a really great workaround. So I have gray granite here and a Stampin' Blend blending brush, not a Stampin' Blends. We do have Stampin' Blends, they're here too. They're gonna come in later. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to start swirling some color on here. And I'm going to create a background that is going to cover most of our little coyote friend. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna mean that I can totally skip any detail coloring set on that coyote that I want to skip. So we are gonna add just a little bit of color for some extra interest, but I'm just making a big smudge here that's big enough to cover our whole coyote. I think that that will do. Maybe I'll do just a little bit more up here. Remember, if you get a really inky pad, you always want to tap your brush on something else before you apply it to your cardstock, so you don't get this here, like you don't get a big smudge like that that's really hard to blend in, okay? So if you tap elsewhere before you blend, then you're better off. All right, so now I'm gonna take my Memento Black, and the reason that I did it in this order, smudge, make my smudge first, then stamp later, is then I don't have to worry about any kind of smearing or anything like that, okay? So now we have our colored coyote. Very light coloring, very subtle, and totally easy because I didn't even have to focus on much at all. All right, now I'm gonna take 2 blends. I'm gonna use Copper Clay and Moody Mauve. They're both from the in colors that are gonna disappear next spring. So if you don't have these yet, think about getting those. And I'm gonna go ahead and just use the light. I'm not going to worry too much about blending for multiple like shades here with the light and the dark. This is really quick and simple. Just gonna give him a little mauve bandana, and then I'm going to color our banjo. So if you missed the intro, my kiddo Joey plays the banjo at Crater Lake. If you are a Philmont aficionado, it's fun to mention because a lot of times people will be like, oh yeah, someone from my work was just there, or oh, a friend's kids are going, or it's kind of an amazing place to do some backpacking, or they do horse trips too. Okay, so here we have our coyote there, very simply colored. And oh my gosh, Joan said she didn't even see this set. I absolutely hear you on that. The reason that it jumped out at me is because Joey already knew they were going to Philmont to work this summer. And so when I saw this set in the new catalog that came out in May, I was like, oh my gosh, look it's just perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut. Remember, when you fussy cut, it's not hard. Keep your scissors in one place and just use your free hand, so this one over here, to turn the paper. So the only thing I'm doing with my right hand is cutting, just squishing the scissors together, and then my other hand, my free hand, is doing all the turning, so I get a nice smooth cut around the edge. Sometimes it helps to get rid of the extra paper so it's not all in your way as you're cutting. And just turn and cut. So pretty simple. All right. So now we're gonna, oh, and I did manage to get enough smudge on there to cover our whole coyote. Now we're going to, so that's our first coloring trick, okay? If you don't want to color, don't. Just use your Stampin' Blends. Now our second coloring trick is going to be to make the background for our friend here, because we're going to have our friend sitting on a hillside. And so we want to go ahead and use a mask to create the hillside. So Stampin' Up! Has masks also, and I am looking forward. I actually have on my schedule to do a whole bunch with them, but for today we're just going to use a Post-it note. And I did this card last night with a group of stamping friends, and my friend Mary watched me cut the Post-it note and then said, oh, you know, if you cut it so that you have sticky on both sides, you'd be better off. So thanks, Mary, for this trick. I've got my sticky right here, and I'm going to make the side of a hill, okay? So I'm just cutting this hill here in the middle of my Post-it note, and you'll see why in a moment. So first thing I'm going to do is make the grass, and I'm going to pop this here. Okay, so now I have the grass. I'm going to save this other Post-it note piece because we're still going to use that. And I'm going to use soft seafoam. I want really light color for this part. Oh, Laura, I'm glad you like this set. Hey, Mary Ellen. I feel like this would be a good card for Montana too. So soft seafoam is a very light green. So I'm not sure how much you're going to see on here, but I'm going to swirl on my pad to pick up ink and then swirl on my cardstock to add color. I'm going to keep my Post-it note. This is the advantage of the Stampin' Up! Mask paper, is it doesn't move because it's got sticky everywhere. But I'm going to make sure that I get a good amount of grass on there. I can kind of peel it back and see. Yep. So probably when I peel it back, you can see pretty well how much ink is on there. So good amount. And then I'm going to switch over to Balmy Blue, which is a very light blue color. I'm going to pull this mask off and I'm going to pop this one on with its sticky. Thank you, Mary. I was like, oh, that is pretty brilliant. And I'm going to match up this shape here with a teeny sliver of green showing. Can you see just that teeny sliver showing? So that I don't get a gap between the colors. And now I'm going to use my blue brush and swirl. I'm going to start every swirl on the scrap paper so that smudge goes there instead of on my sky. And then I'm just going to drift up just a little bit so I have just sort of an edge of color going up. So we have a sort of a suggestion of blue. And I'm going to make sure you don't want to go across this square edge of your Post-it note here because you don't want your grass to have like a, or your sky to have like an edge on it. We're not making a cliffside. So now when I peel this back, I have my horizon line and my sky and my grass. Okay. So now we're going to use the stamps from Musical Jamboree to emphasize that even more. We have this sweet little grass with these cute little mushrooms in it. And I realized that these cute little mushrooms, they do have a direction to them. So the mushrooms can't be upside down. And there's two little arcs of grass. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these on here and then leave a place for our Coyote friend to sit and play the banjo. And I haven't attached this yet because I want to make it easy for myself to add the extras. We have these music notes, which will fit, oops, I kind of lost that when I moved it, which will fit right off here at the end of our Coyote playing banjo. And then we're going to add our punny greeting, just a note. Okay, so all of this stamping I'm doing in Memento Black. Okay, and now we're going to take our piece here. We're going to pop some dimensionals on it, or an edge piece, whatever works best. I happen to have a lot of edges to use up right now. So the nice thing is they're connected and you can peel the backing off in one go. There we go. And then I'm going to pop this on here. Let's see, we'll make it sit up straight. And now we have our very cute card front with a minimum of effort in coloring. So, you know, sometimes you want to take the time to color and sometimes you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this edging on here. Maybe I'll put a dot there. This long piece here. I don't know, do you guys find it satisfying to use an entire sheet of the Stampin' Dimensionals? There's something satisfying, I think, about finishing up a whole sheet. I don't know. It makes me happy, but maybe that's just me. Oh, Corinne, I'm glad you like the tip for coloring. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pop this on here on our front. And the nice thing about this white on white is that you have this nice shadow layer that just really adds an extra dimension effect to your card. You could also glue this flat, but since our Coyote's in the middle and our other dimensionals are on the edge, it's really not a problem to go ahead and just pop this in an envelope for regular postage. And then because we have all these other sweet things here, we are going to go ahead and add some decoration inside our card. I'm going to use this otter. So my friend Vicky was saying, oh my gosh, it's like Emmett Otter from the Christmas show, right? Emmett Otter in the Christmas movies. And then I'm going to go ahead and put our badger friend on this side, which kind of dangerous because it's not flat on the front, but it seemed to work okay. So now we have a little character. Probably could have put them closer together. But that gives us some cute characters there and then some room to write a note inside our card. So all of our backcountry friends are in the backcountry, so they're obviously not going to see this video. And so I feel pretty safe showing you all the cards. But here is another version of this card where I use the otter on the front instead. And they're not a lot to color on here, so I just put in the copper clay there on the little fiddle. but there is our piece. And you can see a little variation too. There's a little bit more color in this one. I went closer to the edge. This one's a little bit more subtle, but some different ways to kind of same idea, but different execution. So lots of flexibility in there. There's really no wrong answer for this card. So, hey, Jenny. Oh, hey, Anna. Oh, yes. Dimensional bones. Oh, I like that. Yeah, they're super handy. I think Anna's the bones, referring to the, I've not heard that before, but I love it. Referring to those edge pieces as the bones of the dimensionals. Hey, Bonnie. Okay. So I promised to show you also when I was at Philmont, I took a little bit of Stampin' Up! Into the backcountry with me. So we were there on July 25th, which is Christmas, right? Christmas in July. And so I had for my crewmates, I got a little treat. Actually, here, I'll show them to you because I think they're really fun. This is a little different than the one I gave them, but they're really cool camping treats. So if you're looking for something, I made them each a little tag. These are from a past paper pumpkin kit. I don't remember when, but I can tell you that because I did this at the last minute before I left, I was super thrilled to find these. So these are paper pumpkin tags, and a good reminder that if you haven't subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, you really should, because they're amazing projects. They're layered tags. This is all like little layered candy canes and circles and so forth. They have the ribbon in them. This one has these fun glittery snowflakes and a chance to put these together. And if you are or have been a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you sometimes look at a couple of boxes or more than a couple that might be stacking up somewhere, don't panic, because you can still use those. So I will tell you that if I had made all these tags, I would not have had them for my perfect Christmas in July. So on Christmas, July 25th morning, I gave each of my camping mates a little gift. It was like this. And inside the little gift was this little tag thing. It's like a credit card kind of size. It's small. And theirs actually were Christmas. They were red and they had a little green Christmas tree and they said Merry Christmas on them. But watch this. This is actually a light. Ding. Can you see that it's lit up? So they had little green Christmas tree lights. And these are like the perfect inside your tent light. So, and they weigh like pretty much nothing. I don't know, maybe they weigh an ounce. They don't weigh very much. They slide in here so they don't accidentally pop open. But these are a great little gifty for your camping friends who might find that really handy. So, all right. So also in the backcountry, we took treats for the backcountry staff. So on our trek, we hiked kind of from staff camp to staff camp. So we had 5 staff camps. And I quizzed Joey ahead of time and asked what like the cool thing was in the backcountry, because the backcountry staff don't get out to like front country very often, or the store. They're very rustic and limited. They don't usually have. There's usually very limited running water, like maybe in a kitchen sink. There's no electricity, that kind of thing. And so they live out there all summer. And so we took Nerds clusters. So the Nerds clusters went into a little bag like this. I don't have any more. Is like a big package. And then I gave them each a little tag like this that said Merry Christmas on the back, and then Let It Snow. And this was the gift that our hiking crew brought to each of our backcountry staffs. This is another paper pumpkin project from years past. And again, I was so happy to find them in my stash. And this was a really great one. So I don't know if you can see very well, but they have these little tiny greenery pieces that layer on top of the tag pieces. And then each one of these pieces is separately layered. And then the Let It Snow was from the stamp in the paper pumpkin set. And so that was really fun. There was one of the camps, I guess, had like a fire extinguisher pop off the wall, and it really did snow there that day because all the stuff went everywhere. So kind of funny. But that was what we brought. And then, of course, we left little thank you note. Actually, we didn't leave them for most of the camps. We sent them afterwards, but we sent little thank you notes through the intercamp mail. And so each of them got like this that said I camp for intercamp, and then the staff. And then there was a card inside, and the cards are DSP card bases. This is a retired DSP, but you could do this with any current Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper, because of course it's pretty on both sides. And so then these were the cards that we wrote out to send to each of the backcountry staff. So just say thank you so much for hosting us. And there are a couple different versions in this paper. So there's that one. And then let's see, one more, I think. Just to say thank you for making us feel so welcome. Us old staffers who worked there, most of us from the early 90s to the early 2000s. It was a real treat to kind of go back and see the amazing things that they're doing now and get to kind of remember our own adventures during that time. So, all right. So that kind of covers my wrap up. I'll see, maybe I can get some pictures from our trip and I'll put them on the LovenStamps blog in the next couple days to kind of share what the adventures were that we were having and how much fun it was to see everybody out there. But in the meantime, Musical Jamboree and all of those coloring tricks that I just showed you, this is a really great one to put to use for lots of things. And of course, you know me that anything with a pun is my jam. So just a note, and music is a double win for me. There are also words in here that say you're a great friend and we belong together. So lots of fun possibilities for this stamp set. So, all right, everybody. Well, happy Tuesday to you. I will see you again in real live time on Thursday with another card to show you. And if you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments. I'll pop them back. And for everybody who said that they hadn't noticed the stamp set in the book so far, I'm glad to bring it to your attention because I think they're darling. And I will look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. So happy stamping, everybody. It's great to be home.